Thank you for your support this year for my channel Tantra Thoughts. Thank you to those who have subscribed to the channel and requested a guided meditation. To be honest with you, I really didn't know what would come from this channel. I just knew that I was passionate about the spiritual science of Tantra and that I wanted to share the knowledge of my guru, Shrii Shrii Anandamurti, via this channel. I hope that by sharing his teachings it would transform others the way it has transformed me. For those of you who are still wondering what is Tantra, what I've discovered in my journey and through the different interviews that you've seen on this channel is that Tantra can be any activity where your consciousness is expanding and ultimately merging with supreme consciousness. This is not an easy task. In fact, it can take an endless amount of lifetimes. They say that the instant before Lord Buddha attained enlightenment, over 25,000 years ago, he remembered a plethora of life forms and animals and insects that he was in many past lives. Given that, it might be easy to give up on this goal altogether because it can take so long to attain. However, remember that all you need to obtain enlightenment is two things. Number one, a human body, which you are quite fortunate to have. And number two, firm determination. So I want to get now to the topic of this video, and that is happiness. And that's also my wish for you here in 2017, is to start exploring, start attaining, or start getting closer and closer to this idea of infinite happiness. So what is happiness? I have a pretty straightforward definition for what happiness is. Happiness is when something that you likes you back, or when something that you want comes into contact with you. So very simple, very simply stated, happiness is when you get what you want. Based on this definition, you could obtain happiness from millions of different things because you might get or be complimented by millions of different things. For example, I like Denzel Washington. So I go see a Denzel Washington movie and it makes me happy. But on the ride back from the theater, I get into a fight with a loved one and now I'm no longer happy. So maybe then I go home and I'll watch my favorite TV show, which makes me happy, but really is also just an escape from my problems. Later I might get invited by someone that I like to go and have a drink. And I go and I have a drink because that makes me happy. But then later I might start to feel sick, or I might start to feel drunk, and maybe I can't drive home anymore, and the next day I suffer. So like that, we kind of go through life from one thing to another thing, trying to acquire happiness from each of those different things. And unfortunately, as we're doing this, we are just getting the type of happiness that is not meant to last. We do things not knowing what we truly want from them. For example, you choose to get into a relationship because you think you found the perfect person. They have the right look, the right job. You think you want romance and you want to start a family. Deep down, what you want is happiness from this relationship. After a while, you get confused. You forget that the person only triggers happiness. They are not happiness itself. When they leave, you suffer because you never learn how to find happiness from within. Now, many people go through life in this way, and for many people, this is normal. But the problem with this is that you start developing a habit of looking for happiness outside of yourself, when the whole time happiness abounds in your inner core. You never learn to channel your inner core where your happiness abounds and exists. Happiness is located within you all along, in your heart, in your mind, like flames just waiting to be fanned. Wouldn't it be a worthwhile pursuit to learn how to access happiness from within? I mean, that's really the whole reason why the yogis practice meditation, is to access happiness. That's really the only reason why people ever seek out God or supreme consciousness. Because deep down, they don't really want God, perhaps. Maybe they just want happiness. And many people are jaded, looking for happiness outside of themselves. They're looking for happiness at a club, at a party, in men and women, money, in beauty and status, in Facebook likes. Take an honest look within yourself and really assess how much happiness do you want. Do you want the type of happiness that only lasts a few minutes, a few hours, a few days? Or would you prefer a type of happiness that is infinite? If you're like me, you want happiness all the time. So in order to accomplish this goal, you have to practice more meditation. Because meditation is that inward path to the core of yourself, where your happiness radiates from. Contact me to help you find a good teacher, or come to some of my events this year where I'll be teaching techniques to improve your meditation. Practice meditation every day, twice a day, in the same way that you need to eat 3 times a day. The food keeps your body happy. Meditation will keep your heart and your mind happy. Practice spiritual meditation, where the goal of the meditation is to become one with the source of all bliss, which is supreme consciousness. One more thing about happiness. You cannot be happy all alone. You live in a society with other people, with other animals, with plants, with minerals, with other living beings. One of my favorite spiritual teachers is the Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh. He talks about the concept of interbeing. As a unit being, yes, you can be, but you also have to interbe. This is where service comes in. I believe service leads to infinite happiness, and there are a few reasons why. First, you will only know Supreme Consciousness when you serve Supreme Consciousness. You will only know it when it becomes the subject and you become the object. The subject of the universe is God. So where does that leave you? You are only a thought wave in God's mind. You are God's object. On my tantric path, I learned that it is not the job of the divine to please me. It's the other way around. It's my job to please the divine and to serve creation. Seva, to practice seva, which is service. This is part of my human dharma, our human dharma. When I'm aligned with my human dharma, I'm on the verge of infinite happiness. Anandamurti talked about madhuvidya, which is seeing the divine in everything. When a mother feeds her child, if she's practicing madhuvidya, she doesn't think, I'm feeding my child. She thinks, I'm feeding Supreme Consciousness in the shape of my child. Coming back to this concept now of interbeing by Thich Nhat Hanh, service brings happiness because when you serve others, others become happy. And that will create the environment for you to be happy, for happiness to flourish. So do more service. Listen to others. Understand others. Love the people around you. Spread love in the world. Relieve the suffering of those who are suffering from lack of justice, from oppression or exploitation. Don't pray for people. Get out and help everybody on this planet. Help them all have the 5 basic necessities of life so that they can have happiness. Work so everyone can have shelter, food, education, clothing, healthcare. So one great way to be happy in life is by making others happy and by making the divine happy. Thank you so much again for having watched this channel in 2016. I wish you a path of infinite joy and bliss in 2017. Namaskar.